Hi everybody, we are here for the interview with Jessalyn Gilsig. So I will send a request to it's painting. Hi Jessalyn.
Hi.
Hi. I hope everybody is okay here in Los Angeles. You are in
Oui,
Los Angeles.
oui, ça va bien, merci.
Mais vous parlez français, c'est
Oui,
wonderful.
un peu. Yeah. Je viens de
Et
Montréal, donc je parle pas si bien, mais pas mal.
no, no. Mais you were born in Quebec and it's a French
Ouais,
thing.
yeah, exactement. Je parle avec un accent québécois, mais je suis anglophone, donc I'm not fluent, but I get by.
Okay, no problem. So we are doing it in English anyway. Could you do the Québécois accent just for the fun?
Ben ouais, on parle comme ça en Québec.
Amazing! Moi, je peux faire l'accent liégeois. Oufti! Oufti, quelle
Oufti.
affaire, Ali? You don't know. But I can do it, yeah. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's really great because I studied all your background and it's wonderful. Many things, many things. And you
Oh,
have
thank
worked with
you.
you have worked with a Belgian guy I know, Frédéric Duchot.
Oh yeah, of
He's from
course.
Belgium.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I know him. He sent me a drawing of the Cranston because he's also a comics creator in Belgium, and
Uh-huh.
I know him. He's very great, very
Oh, I
cool.
love him. Yeah, he's wonderful. It's like a blast from the past.
A bit, but that's the
Yeah.
kind of my show. It's a blast from the past. But at the beginning, you were voice. You are doing voice,
Yes,
and you did
exactly.
you did Robin Hood Jr. You did Gulliver's Travels,
Mm-hmm.
Excalibur, Camelot in English.
Oui.
And you did
Yeah.
also Masquerade. It's a thing with puppets on something like this with a little figurine.
Yeah, that
Figurine.
was my first job ever.
That's right. But
Yeah.
but before that, you did Broadway.
You know what? I've never done Broadway. I've done off Broadway, and I came very close to doing a show on Broadway, and we were rehearsing it. And while we were rehearsing it, the money fell through, and the play was canceled, and that's how I ended up moving to Los Angeles and doing Boston Public. Was I wasn't going to do Boston Public because I was so excited to go to Broadway, and then the play fell through. So that's still on my list of things to do. I still would love to get to Broadway.
Okay, so Wikipedia is a vague thing because they said that you were in Broadway, but you
Oh,
love to sing, actually. You love to sing. You were in Glee. You
I was in
perform in Glee.
Glee. I was in Glee. I'm not a great singer, but I do like to sing. But I'm not Broadway. I'm not like Leah Michelle or Matthew Morrison or Amber Riley. Nothing like that. I mean, I think I could do, Chicago. I did a Hallmark movie and I sang in that, and I enjoy it. But I don't think I should. No one's going to ask me to cut an album ever.
Ah, may I would like to listen your album. I think you did like to sing, to dance, you know.
I like to, but I don't know if people want to watch me do it. It's not maybe those aren't my strong suits.
Yeah, but you did so many series. Glee, we said, Heroes, of course.
Hmm.
Aidan Smover. I don't remember the name. You were the real mother of Claire Bennett in the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was her mother. I was her birth mother. Oh, you mean
Yeah.
in Heroes? Yeah. And it was such an interesting part. Um, and I saw you interviewed Tim yesterday, which is wonderful. Was that a good conversation?
Yeah, yeah, it's very great. Do you know Spirou?
No.
It's a comic book from
Oh,
Belgium,
okay.
and he
Ah,
knows Spirou. And I say to him, you should make something with Spirou in the US. And he said, yeah, write me back an email, and we will see what we can do. So maybe we will work together about Spirou, but I don't know. It's only an idea.
wow. Nicely
But
done. You sold a show. Nicely done. That's great.
yeah, Spirou and Fantasio in Belgium. And you know Tintin?
Right. Tintin, I know. Yeah, I
Oui,
read Tintin
Tintin.
as a kid. Yeah, we call them
Yeah,
Tintin. You say
yeah.
Tintin?
Yeah, Tintin in English and Tintin
Yeah.
in French. Kuifje in
Mm-hmm.
het Nederlands. Timon Stroepie in Dutchland. But yeah, I know
Ah,
Tintin.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
changed the name. But it's strange because in the US, you know the Smurf, you know
Mm-hmm.
Tintin, maybe Asterix, and Spirou is very famous, but nobody knows him in the USA. So maybe
Yeah,
there is something to do about it,
that's
about him.
interesting. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. That's great.
but according to Heroes, you were, you know, the Fantastic Four. You were a bit like the guy with the fire, you know.
Uh-huh.
You smoke a cigarette and
I
then you
know,
do.
it's so fun. I love doing that. That was
But
so
you,
much fun.
well, yes, but you are died in
I
Heroes.
know.
Cider killed you. You take medicaments, I think, and you burn yourself, if I
Yeah, it
remember.
was kind of weird because I always thought it was strange that I could start fire, but then I died by fire. But maybe that's sort of poetic. And I think if I remember correctly, I sacrificed myself. Like I told my daughter, you know, leave me to die
That's right.
and save yourself. So it was a heroic death. But I enjoyed it. I really that show was fun. The character in the beginning was a little bit I don't know. Over time, she kind of became tougher, but in the beginning, she was very sort of light and kind of ethereal. And she lived in this trailer, and she was just kind of like Earth Mothery. I remember, and I had just had my daughter, so I was feeling like very maternal. And I have to say, Hayden is so talented. I always feel like Hayden could be a director. She, for somebody so young, she had such an interesting awareness of the entire story, and she was more aware than a lot of actors that I've worked with, and I was really impressed with. She had incredible command of what she does, and she's very aware of what it was she was trying to communicate. And I really loved watching her work. I thought she was a really, really effective actress.
According to Aidan Pantier.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because there is a friend who said, "I love your English accent." Yeah, I know it's a very shitty accent. Yeah, that's everybody said it. My English teacher said, "Okay, you are good. You want to have a conversation and everything, but my accent, yeah, it's not really American, but it's okay."
Your accent?
Yeah, I have a
You
Belgian
sound
accent.
amazing. Well, that's, I mean, that doesn't matter. I think your English is excellent.
Yeah, I know Janssen Panettiere, the Hayden's brother. I
Oh,
sometimes I have him in my contacts, but never speak with Hayden. I think it can be difficult to get her in a live Instagram, but maybe
yeah.
one day. I
I
think
don't know.
that's
I
a
don't know
mother.
her,
Yeah.
but she's
So
wonderful. She's really talented. She's one of the most interesting people I've worked with, and I was incredibly impressed by her.
and she was so young at the time.
And incredibly young. That's what I mean. She was just hyper intelligent, I thought. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I've rarely worked with somebody this young who really understands camera, who really understands story, who's very, very deliberate in everything that she does. I really was impressed.
And during this period, you did also Nip Tuck,
Hmm.
Prison Break. Yeah, Prison Break.
Yes.
I didn't watch Prison Break, but according Heroes and Prison Break in France and Belgium, we have a different music. You know, in the beginning you have a music, and they
Hmm.
change the music of Prison Break and Heroes. Prison Break, it's Faflarage. It's a rapper from France, and he
Oh,
said,
okay.
"J'ai pas le temps, mon esprit est ailleurs." It's a song. It's the beginning song of the show of Prison Break, and it was a big hit in France, but you don't know the song because in the US it's another song. But I can send you a YouTube link so you could listen.
Yeah, yeah, send it to me. That's so interesting. I know sometimes people will send me clips of shows that I've done, and they're in a hotel or something around the world, and it's been dubbed, you know, into a different
That's
language.
right.
So it's my face, but somebody else's voice. And it's actually always quite good. I'm always very impressed.
And have you ever meet Raphaël Moutier?
No.
It's your French voice, official French voice.
Ah, really?
Yeah, that's right. Never met her. She's from Switzerland. but it's okay.
That's interesting. That might be one I feel like somebody sent me Glee and it was in French and I thought it was really good. I mean, I thought, wow, that woman really kind of sounds like me and just the cadence and everything. I thought it was really good. So maybe it was her. That's so cool.
That's great. And you did also some series, you know, I don't remember the Viper, The Practice,
Hmm.
CSI, many Vikings. Yeah, Vikings. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
super.
yeah,
We are commenting this. You
yes.
love to do Vikings because it's a big show at this time of Viking. I don't know if you like Viking, you know, medieval things.
Oh yeah, no, Vikings was amazing. We filmed it in Ireland. So that was really fun and I learned so much exactly about that time period and about that culture. And there's a lot that there are a lot of assumptions that have been made about Vikings that aren't correct. And it was an extremely complex and interesting culture. And one of the most interesting things is it wasn't a patriarchy. So women and men could rule, could own land, could divorce. So it wasn't, it's not the traditional relationship dynamics that we're used to seeing. And that was kind of, that was a challenge in a way for the whole cast. I remember we would do scenes, and let's say you're doing a scene where I don't know, we're eating and someone has to ladle the soup and everybody would just assume that the female character would do it, but that wasn't accurate. You know, men would cook, men would serve the food, men would clean, men would maintain their homes as well. So we had to learn to release our own gender assumptions for a period piece, because you think in a period piece, oh, the women are going to be the gatherers and the men are going to be the hunters, but Vikings didn't have the same patriarchal structure that we're used to. And so it was really fun to sort of challenge ourselves to release those assumptions and realize that the relationship dynamics were really different. It was
And
great.
yeah, and we spoke about Frédéric Duchot, but you are connected to Belgium because you did 13. You know the comics
Oh
13,
yeah, that's
and
right.
it's a
Yeah.
Belgian comics created
Okay.
by Vance and Jean Van Am. I don't know if you meet
Mm.
them, but you did act in their comic adaptation. You know.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I remember I didn't know that they were from Belgium, but yeah, that was oh God, what is that actor's name? He has a series now. I can't remember his name. But I think I was his I don't know. I'm always the wife who I'm either this is what I play. I play the wife who gets killed, or I play like the mistress or the ex-wife. I usually play the ex-wife, the mistress, or the one who's killed. So in that one, I was the wife who was killed.
Too bad, but it's okay. And
Hmm.
I saw something really interesting. You draw. You love drawing.
Yes, yeah.
And I
So when
really, yeah, it's very great. I saw them on Instagram and I really love
oh,
it because
thank you
I'm
so much.
a big fan of paintings, of drawings, of comics. So I really love this. Yeah. So you
Merci
love to
beaucoup.
draw. That's the best.
Yes. So when I after high, so I started as an actor very young. I started when I was 12, like you said, doing a lot of voiceovers, and it was I was just very lucky, and I always wanted to be an actor, and I started very early, and I was working, and I was actually, you know, making money, but my passion was actually the visual arts, was drawing. So when I finished high school in Quebec, we have a thing called Cégep, which is kind of like a junior college that you go to before university. And so for Cégep, I actually went into fine arts. And so I continued to work as an actor, which was sort of how I supported myself, but I continued to pursue the visual arts. And then by the time I finished that, I really it's so funny to think about now, but acting seemed more stable because it was supporting me. So I kind of stepped deeper into acting, and but I've always kept drawing and painting in my life. And a lot of times when I'm on location and there's nothing else to do, I'll just turn over my script and start drawing whatever I can see. And it's just been a really good outlet, you know, to have something else. I love art. I find it really, I love seeing, you know, people take whatever's going on inside their minds and somehow putting it in a visual form, whether that's music or visual arts or performance or anything. So yeah, I've just always kept it in my life. And I think I have a dream that someday I'll be able to carve out enough time to get better and maybe to study more. But it definitely is it's a comfort for me, and I really enjoy it.
Congratulations, because a guy used your art paintings in a movie that's The Station Agent.
Oui,
So,
c'est correct. Yeah. So Tom McCarthy is a friend of mine, and he called me one day and he said, "I'm making a movie, and Patricia Clarkson is a painter." And Tom had seen my paintings before, and he said, "How would you feel if the paintings in the film were yours?" And I said, "You know, you do anything for a friend." And so I said, "Yeah, of course." Happy to send them over. So I sent over some paintings and some sketchbooks and things. And then it turned out, you know, it won Sundance and it became this big phenomenon. And I thought, oh, I don't know if my paintings are good enough for that, but they're in there. So yeah, I was very honored that he felt that they were the right to tell his story. It was a really cool experience.
and do you want one day to draw a comics?
You know, I've considered doing a kind of something animated. I was kind of wanted to do, you know how there's like the Family Guy and the Simpsons and things like that. And I always feel like they sort of skew kind of, I don't know, I always feel like there hasn't really been a female perspective on that kind of irreverent comic, you know, something that's like a little bit on the darker side. So I've had a few ideas sometimes to try to animate some experiences that I've had and see if there's a story in there a little bit more from the female perspective, but I
Yeah,
haven't made it happen yet.
I hope that I could see an animated movie directed by Jessalyn Gilsig.
Ah, merci. Thank you so much.
With your production company, Lady in the Tree.
Yes, Lady in
Lady
the
in
Tree
the Tree
Productions.
production. It's
Yes.
very, very hard. Lady in a tree, une femme dans un arbre.
Femme doesn't know. So when I was in high school, there was a girl named Paisley Preston, and she wrote a play called She's Out of Her Tree. And it was a one woman show, and she asked me to perform it. And I mean, I don't know if I was maybe 13 at the time. And I remember I sat on top of a ladder, which was supposed to represent the tree. And I did this one woman show. And I remember it distinctly because it was one of the times when you know, you have those few moments in your life where you think, oh, this feels right. You know, this feels, I don't know. I just felt like I was not that I was meant to be doing that. That sounds wrong, but I was comfortable doing it. And so I always thought it was so kind of her to ask me to play the role. And then I thought it was kind of formative for me. So I named my production company after that play and called it Lady in the Tree. So wherever Paisley Preston is, thank you so much.
Okay. And you have also a studio, Speed Real Studios.
You know what? I don't anymore because
Oh,
of the pandemic. Yeah. So I had a small studio that did services for actors, and we helped people with self tapes and edited their reels and things like that. Just sort of like the unique jobs that actors need done that no other sort of industry can serve. But you know, when the pandemic hit, I had to close it, and I won't bring it back. It's too Los Angeles. You know, we're so up and down with opening and closing, and so it was just too uncertain. So unfortunately, that was a you know, what do you call that? Like a one of the collateral damage of the pandemic.
okay. Yeah, that's right. In Belgium too, the COVID killed the restaurants,
Yeah,
some hairdressers shops.
yeah,
The world is changing. We don't know where we go, but
that's it.
we hope we will get something to fight it.
I agree. Yeah, better days ahead, I hope.
There is Siggy. I don't know what is Siggy, but many people in the comments say
Oh yeah,
Siggy,
I
Siggy.
can't see the comments. Yeah, so you should tell me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'll tell you.
okay,
Siggy.
good. So Siggy is the character that I played in Vikings, and
Ah, okay. It's
yeah,
the name. I think it was a title name. So
no. That was the character's name. And oh, what a great role. I mean, well, that job, I remember, we have to be at work very early. Normally, especially as a woman, you have to, the women have to be there the earliest. So usually on a Monday, I have to be at work around 5 in the morning. So you get to work before the sun comes up, and which I love. I'm an early riser, so I'm in Ireland, and I'm dressed as a Viking. Okay, like I have hair down to my knees. I'm in these spectacular, fascinating, intricate costumes. And I remember standing just waiting because other people were arriving, and I thought, I cannot believe this is my job. This is such a good job to pretend to be a Viking. I mean, I'm so lucky. It's just sometimes you're just like, I'm a grown woman and I'm pretending to be a Viking. This is ridiculous. But and she was amazing because she, in a lot of ways, something that it's very special about what I get to do is you learn from your characters. And Siggy was a very, very strong, very powerful, very driven woman, unapologetic about her ambition, unapologetic about her desire to survive and to be respected. And I don't always feel that way. But when you play somebody who feels that way, you get to access these emotions and these feelings and these ways of thinking that it's like you get to visit another perspective. And it's such a gift to get to do that kind of thing. Or you can sometimes play somebody who's very, very vulnerable and very, very fearful. And then you develop this empathy for people who are driven by fear, But really with Siggy, I always felt like she was carrying me much more than I was really driving her.
Wow, it's very spiritual.
It's very, oh my gosh, people ask you this all the time, but I mean, it's hard to let a character go. You kind of mourn them. I know that there's a lot about this work that people think is, from the outside can look kind of shallow and maybe sort of, I don't know, frivolous or something. But sometimes, and I've been really so lucky with the roles that I've gotten to play that, a lot of times you're presuming to represent the human experience. And there's a lot of responsibility in that. And I take it really seriously, even in comedy, I still think you're trying to connect with the audience and say, hey, I see you, I feel you, I understand you. Let's find this, let's express this common experience together. And I think the work for me is very spiritual and it's very meaningful to me, the work. I feel incredibly honored to get to do it. I really, really do. I never take it for granted. I think I'm unbelievably lucky.
And you acted also in a big hit, the Horse Whisperer. It's l'homme qui murmurait à l'oreille des chevaux in French.
In
Robert
French,
Redford.
Robert Redford.
L'homme qui murmurait à l'oreille des chevaux, and in English, the Horse Whisperer.
Horse Whisperer. It's a little cleaner in English. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so imagine that. That was my first job out of theater school. I went on tape, I remember, for the role, and I booked it. And I show up, and it's Robert Redford. And this is what I remember about him. I remember his shirt was perfectly pressed. I mean, it looked like it had only ever been worn that day, and it was never going to be worn again. It was so crisp and beautiful. And I remember some people are like this. He had the ability to make you feel like you were the only person in the room. So when he was speaking to you, he was speaking directly at you. And you would think, okay, do you have a crush on me? But it was just that he just could give you his full attention and his focus. And he did something which I've talked about before, which was so brilliant. So I played Kristen Scott Thomas's assistant, and she was running a kind of like Vanity Fair. She was running a big magazine. So we were in this office in New York City, and there were extras who kind of filled the space, and they were young actors. And he would go up to each extra and he would say, because let's say they did a scene where they had to, while we were talking, they were going to walk past us. And he would walk up to one and he would say, "You've worked here for 2 years and never been promoted." And then he'd walk up to the other one and he'd say, "You started last week." And then he'd walk up to another one and he'd say, what did he say? One of them, he said, "You wore socks today and they're too tight." And he would give them all these specific, because you imagine like the way you would walk with a task if you had worked somewhere for 2 years and never been appreciated is really different from the person who just showed up and thinks that this is their dream job. So he helped them decide the energy with which they would just exist in the space. It was so brilliant. He was an incredible, I mean, obviously he's Robert Redford, but it was really cool to see him in action. And I learned a lot on that job.
And you did also another movie when you were young. I don't remember. It's something in one word, but I don't remember. Before the film with Robert Redford, you don't remember a TV movie? Yeah, that
Jackknife. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
sorry.
Jackknife, which was with Robert De Niro, was in Montreal. But by the time, that wasn't a great experience because by the time so this is what happened. I was really young. I think I don't know, I was a teenager. And this was a long time ago. And now I think about it, it's really horrifying. I auditioned for it. And then for the callback, I just had to make out with lots of different people. I just kissed random men until they picked a man and then in the film, all I do is kiss that man in a hallway. It was really gross. But anyway, the film is good, but my experience of it was like not a great introduction to the industry.
Yeah, and you did produce also Cognitive. You acted in Cognitive and you produced Cognitive.
Oh yeah, so Cognitive is a short film that a friend of mine, Matt Hayes, made, and I produced with him. It's a really interesting story. Matt grew up in Alabama, and when he was growing up, it was sort of when the AIDS crisis was hitting, and he knew that he was gay when he was very young, but he grew up in a very religious family in Alabama, and he heard his preacher say when he was about 7 or 8 years old that God had created AIDS to punish gay people. So he thought, like a child's imagination, that he had AIDS. And he didn't know how to tell his family. He thought he was dying for much of his childhood, which was very sad. So he made a really beautiful film sort of exploring that experience in Alabama as a child. And then I produced another film called Somewhere Slow before that, which I made with Jeremy O'Keefe and Graham Patrick Martin, which is also really something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, and Jeremy is from Australia. That's right?
No.
No?
No,
But
he's American.
No, I forgot, but I think I am in trouble. But did he act Peter Pan? Oh, he's not him. No, it's Jeremy Subter. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. No. Jeremy's just he's a director and a writer. He's not an actor.
And you are in the Disney Channel thing, Big Shot?
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited. Yeah. So we're shooting Big Shot for Disney Plus right now, which I think it's coming out in the spring. And John Stamos is our lead, and he's amazing. And he plays a basketball coach who was a college basketball coach and gets fired, and the only job that he can get is coaching a girls' high school basketball team. And I'm the assistant basketball coach, and we've been shooting it during the pandemic, so it's been very difficult, but it's been he's so wonderful, and it's such a great group of people. So I'm really excited for people to see it. I think they're really going to like it.
Do you like to act in movies and series for children? So you did this thing, and you did also a TV movie with Bailey Madison, but I forgot the name of the show.
Oh, with Big Man. Oh, yeah, yeah. I did Smart Cookies.
That's
Yeah,
right.
for I think that was for Hallmark
Yeah,
or yeah,
I
something like
think so.
that. Yeah, that was really fun. You know, I don't do a lot of things for younger audiences because I think that I have a little bit of like even I think there's something a little bit sort of dark about me that comes across on camera. So I'm really comfortable playing sort of people more like Siggy or maybe what I played in Nip Tuck or what I played in Glee. Like I like bringing a little bit of edge to the things that I do. So even something like what I'm doing now for Disney Plus, the girls on the show they laugh at me because before a take, I always try to like get myself to a really light, happy place because I think my natural place is like a little bit like of a schemer, but you can't be a schemer on Disney, so you have to be like you know um so yeah, so it's fun. Listen, you're always challenged, you always have to find sides of yourself that you haven't used before, and that's
Yeah.
that's what you have to do.
And have you ever act in another language than your mother tongue, English? No.
No, sometimes I get asked. Actually, I had two requests this week saying, is your French good enough? But my French is good enough to play an English person who speaks French, but my French is not good enough to take the job from somebody who's a French speaker. So I have to. I'm very careful about that. I mean, I would love to be in a film as somebody who's English speaking who can speak French, but I would never take the job of somebody who's actually fluent in French. And then in Vikings, we had to speak with an accent, but we sort of developed that accent with a dialect coach. We kind of invented it because nobody knew what the Vikings actually sounded like.
And you don't know other language than French and English?
That's all. That's all I got. I mean, I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not
Hola,
enough.
¿qué tal?
Hola, ¿cómo está? Yeah, but
Je,
no, just French and English.
I would like so much to see you in a French movie anyway. Would you
Me
like one day?
too. Yes, of course, I would love it.
Have
I
you
know, like,
ever have you ever meet French actors in the US or French director? Do you know French stars, celebrities?
not
No.
really. I don't think so. I think Kristen Scott Thomas, she I think lives in France and
Yes.
she performs in French.
Yes.
But I don't know, does she play a francophone or does she play English characters who speak French?
Francophone. She plays
Oh
French
yeah?
roles and English roles. Yes, but she is credited to a French person. Yeah, yeah.
Good for
She
her.
Yeah, and there is another actress, but I forgot the name. And she's from Canada, and she acted in a French movie of Manu
Uh-huh.
Payet, and she was the girl in The Mentalist, but it's not Robin Tunney, but she acted in The Mentalist, but I forgot the name.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course there's like Jessica Paré, but she's French and she performs here in English. But to be my original, my native language is English and I speak French and I just would never want to offend anybody and, like presume something.
And do you watch sometimes French movies?
And sometimes more when I was younger, but growing up in Quebec, obviously, like they were more around us and they were, you choose between seeing a French film and an English film. I dubbed a lot of French films into English. That was something that I did when I first
Oh,
started out. So I used to do the voices for French films that they wanted English voices for.
do you remember which French actresses you dub?
No, it was so long ago, but I do remember I was really young. I don't even think I was 18. And I remember I had to do like love scenes and things like that. It was really uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
I know. And I was like
Je,
16 years old. It was so
oh
weird.
my God.
I know.
Je t'aime, tu es
Yeah,
fabuleux, tu
exactly.
es
And like
très beau.
you had to make go like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We do
Wow,
crazy things.
it's
Yeah.
Yes, but Quebec is very great. I've never been in Quebec, but the background is very great, the city too, and the
Yeah.
accent, of course. Do you like the French music? You know, there is Lara Fabian, Robert Charlebois, Garou in
Oh
music.
yeah, Claudia Charleroi. Um,
Robert Charlebois.
yeah, my so my daughter goes, funnily enough, she's 14 and she goes to a lycée française here
Okay.
in in Los Angeles. So she knows a little bit of contemporary French music and contemporary French films and things like that. So it's interesting to see it through her eyes, you know. I'm trying to think of that. Stromae, is that his name?
Stromae from Belgium.
Yeah, yeah, she loves Stromae.
Papa
Um,
Ute.
yeah, exactly. Ute Papa. Yeah, so she loves him. I remember he came here and like I think we didn't go, but a
Yeah.
lot of her friends went and saw him perform and he's wonderful. So
Yeah.
I stay connected to that mostly through my daughter because she knows some of it. And a lot of her friends are from France.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Stromae. There is also Plastic Bertrand. You know, ça
Okay.
plane pour moi, moi,
I
moi.
have to ask her. She'll tell me.
No, it's an old song. Yeah, it's from the 80s. Huh?
Oh, okay.
Plastic
Okay.
Bertrand. No, you don't
Plastic
know?
Bertrand. I'm sure if I heard it, I would know it.
And for the Belgian actor, you know Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Of course. Yeah. Everybody knows Jean-Claude Van Damme.
They
I
made
have
a
a I have a Jean-Claude Van Damme story actually.
really. You met
So
him?
no, I don't know if I met him actually, but when I first moved to Los Angeles, uh, when I was really young, I was offered a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. And I'm not saying he had anything to do with this, so I don't know if he did. But the condition was that I get a nose job, and the producers would pay to fix my nose.
Okay.
I didn't do it, obviously, and I didn't get the part.
Yeah, but you're right. It's your body. It's your choice.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy. I thought it was so, I was like, you know, but that's what it's like when you first land here. People want you to change your name, they want you to change your face, like they want you to change everything, you know. But so I never got to work with him because I wouldn't fix my nose.
and you don't want to be tattooed or pierced for a movie because sometimes I don't know, remember the name again of the actress, but there was an actress who needs to get tattoos and everything for a movie, and they did it for the show.
I mean, normally you can just get, there are amazing artists who do temporary
Yeah, that's
tattoos
right.
and I don't know. I'd
That's
probably get
also right.
piercing. I don't know if I would do a tattoo. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that uptight about that stuff. I think people do what's right for them. And if the role was really special and I don't know. I'm not like, you know, a big part of this work, one of the things you have to be is flexible. You know, you just have to be able to, you know, you if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Somebody else will do it. You know, it's not, you can't really overthink it. So I don't know. It depends what it is, I suppose.
And do you want one day to direct a movie? So we, in the past, in the short past, we spoke about an animated movie because you
Hmm.
draw. But do you want to direct a short movie or a full-length movie with actors?
Yeah, I really would like to direct. You know, I really, really like producing. I enjoy it so much. It's really satisfying and gratifying to bring together different departments and to create opportunities for talented people, you know, whether it's wardrobe or editing or production design or, you know, I really like that. So, and I'm comfortable with the idea of directing. I've just been acting for so long that I feel like I know a lot about, you know, how, especially how TV stories are told and different lenses and different, you know, just different shots and that kind of thing. So it's something that I'd like to explore. I'm definitely doing more and more producing, but eventually maybe I would direct a short or something and see how that goes.
And have you ever visit Belgium or France or never?
Yeah, France a few times. I've been to France a few times, but I have not been to Belgium. But I would, I mean, obviously, I would love to.
Uh,
Definitely on the list.
but when I say you Belgium, what do you think about? So Stromae, but do you know Mannequin Peace?
Mm-mm.
It's a little guy peeing in Brussels. It's a
No.
sculpture. It's a sculpture. You know, Eiffel
Oh,
Tower.
okay. Okay.
If in France there is Eiffel Tower in Paris, and in
Uh-huh.
Belgium, in Brussels, we have the mannequin piece. It's a little guy sculpture, and he's
Uh-huh.
flying in the Brussels, and everybody is watching him. There is Chinese, Japanese people who are taking
Oh.
pictures,
Uh-huh.
and there is also Grand Place. There is a big place, and everybody is taking picture.
Uh-huh.
There is many comics you don't know in the US, of course, Gaston Lagaffe, Boule Bill, children's stories, because in the US it's more Marvel, DC Comics, so we are not in
Right.
this trip anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I think you could love it, and it's
Yes, I'm sure
fun.
I would. Yeah. I would
Yeah,
love to come. It would be, yeah, it'd be
but
wonderful. Definitely, definitely going. Once this pandemic ends, there'll be lots of travel.
maybe in a future convention, because there is some conventions, maybe they will invite you. I don't
Yeah,
know who, I don't know when, but it may be happen.
that would be great. I love going to those conventions. It's wonderful to meet people, and they always know the material really well, and they're always so supportive. It's always been such a good experience.
Yeah, and people are dressed like
Yeah.
their heroes. It's very special. I did one
Yeah.
time, but for professional like me, it's complicated, because it's not really personal. We cannot really communicate. There is the staff, there is
Uh-huh.
money, because it costs to you to come in Belgium, so the organization needs to you to pay, and it's difficult. I know some actors who were in Brussels for a convention, but I didn't get an interview because it's complicated. They have contracts.
Interesting.
So
Oh,
for
yeah.
for fans, it's great, but for professional, not in this trip. So I
That's
decided to do
interesting.
Instagram, because
Yeah.
I don't meet people anymore, because with the COVID,
Yeah.
I am blocked, and I decided to realize a part of my dream, to meet actors, but they are in Los Angeles, so I do it virtually, because I cannot do it anymore in real life with Belgian actors, with Belgian cartoonists, sorry, and everything. Yes, but my accent, my God, I didn't practice English for 2 years, so
I think you
I.
sound wonderful. Listen, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do what you've done today in French. I think it's great. And I love that you reached out. I think you reached out to me a while ago to do radio, but before the pandemic, and you said, if you ever come to Belgium, you invited me to speak with you. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I think I did it, but you didn't reply. But it's
Oh,
normal, because you did.
no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did. I did reply. I'll send it
The
to you because
second
I
time, the
said,
second time, the second time.
mm,
Yes, I
I'll see.
promise. I send you an email first, and I didn't get a reply. And then the second one, I propose you the Instagram Live, and you reply.
No, I'm going to send it to you because I said I would love to come to Belgium one day. You'll see.
Really?
Hmm.
I didn't receive it. Oh my God.
I
But
have it.
sometimes I don't receive the mail.
Oh,
That's
okay.
true. There is a cartoonist from France who sent me a
Yeah.
thing, and I never received it. And then he proved me that it sent it, and I say, "Oh my God, it's the Google
You don't
server."
know what you're missing. You could be missing so much. But anyway, I think it's great that you reached out. I mean, if it's one of the beauties of social media, if there are so many problems with it, but one of the good things is we can all connect without a middleman anymore, and we can have nice conversations. So I think it's great.
Yeah, that's right, and I really love this. But yeah, I love the family. When I take a movie or a series, I look at the cast, and I try to interview the cast, but it's not to speak about heroes. I just look at the cast, and I ask to Milo, I ask to Adrian Pasdar, I ask to Aidan Panettiere, but it's not really about a hero's interview. It's just about their background, their life, their experience, their filmography, their production company, their projects, if they like to draw. And yeah, I love to interview a family, but not about the same project, of course.
Right.
But
That's
it's
great.
a,
That's a good
it,
idea. I like that.
yeah, it's a bit my background. But you see, we didn't speak about heroes so much. It
I
was
was only
really.
nervous because I don't know what I remember. It was a long time
I remember I
ago.
was burning myself
Yeah,
in the Pit
exactly.
Caster with Saidar, with
I mean, that
Zachary.
was like almost, what was that? 14 years ago, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just watched it during the pandemic. I watched it all the season, and with
Ah,
Tim, I debrief because I just watched it, so I knew all the episode or the season, and we did a special heroes. But he's the creator, so he's the man, and we
yeah,
spoke about entertaining, about storytellers and everything. So it was a bit
that's
technical.
great.
But according heroes, yes, I remember there is a scene where you become a puppet. You remember,
Oh
and you are like
yeah, yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
and one moment you are speaking, and you say, and you, and then you are, you need like an automat. I,
Yeah, yeah, it was really fun. I remember, and he tries to make me like cut myself. Yeah, that
yeah,
was really fun.
and one moment I think that Aiden has a gun, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
she's trying to kill you,
Yeah,
but it's not, and there is the big guy, the puppet master is a big
yeah,
guy. I don't remember the name of this actor, and he's like this. That was
yeah.
very strange, but I
We
loved
we
it.
filmed that at an amazing there's a marionette theater here in Los Angeles, and they have these old beautiful, it feels haunted, the space, and we filmed it in their theater, and they had all these puppets hanging around, and the atmosphere was incredible. It was so cool.
Do you like puppets?
I mean, they're kind of creepy, but like, you know.
But there is two different puppet. There is the puppet we are speaking right now, but there is also the puppet like the Muppet shows,
I
Sesame
love the Muppet
Street.
Show. Yeah, I love the Muppet
Yeah,
Show.
and there is a
Yeah.
Belgian puppet masters in the Jim Henson team. There is a
Oh
Belgian
yeah.
guy. Yeah, yeah, I read that. Sorry, I read an article about this
Uh-huh.
on the web, and there is a Belgian guy in the Jim Henson
That's
company.
great.
But I
Yeah.
really love you. You never been invited in a puppet Muppet show? No, never been invited.
No, it's funny. I mean, I want to. Part of why I became an actor was I just love the Muppet Show. So I love the Muppet Show. I think the Muppet Show. I love the guests. When I was a kid, that's my generation, and I remember the guest stars coming on, and then going in Miss Piggy's dressing room, and all the antics, and
Yeah,
Kermit the Frog. I just loved it. So I think the Muppet Show is so brilliant because it was something that kids and their parents could watch together, and there were adult jokes and there were kid jokes in it. And yeah, I love the Muppet Show.
yeah, me too. With Kermit.
Yeah, yeah,
La
wonderful.
grenouille. In
Le
Belgium, we say
grenouille.
Kermit. La grenouille. Comment on
Le
dit
grenouille.
grenouille en
Frog.
anglais?
Frog.
Frog.
Yeah,
Yes, of course, I know it, but when you don't practice, you forgot words, so you need to go back.
I understand
I do the
completely.
interview without notes, huh? Because I need to improve my brain. But yeah, I really love puppets, and I collect now puppets for
Ah ouais?
Belgium. In Belgium, there is some adaptation of puppet shows about comics. So I try to research the Tintin puppets, the Smurf puppets, and yeah, because in the 60s, puppet show was very trend, and so they made
Mm-hmm.
many shows, and I try to get it for the Belgian collection, library Belgian collection, and
That's
I try
cool.
to find the son, the puppet master's sons. Have you ever
Mm.
get steal the puppet so I can buy it? Oh no, we destroyed it. No, no. Because
Ah.
sometimes they go to the rubbish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
there.
Yeah, in the US it's very great because when you make a movie there is the property master, and
Yeah.
at the end of the movie there is a kind of museum. NBC has a museum, Disney
Yeah.
has a museum, and there is a kind of props museum. But in
Yes.
France, when the when the shooting is finished, when the filming is finished, but it's lost.
It's all
The
gone. Yeah.
yeah, there is nothing. Yeah, it's the director, the production, and they say, "Oh, we don't care about it. Okay,
Toss it out.
we paid it, but we don't care." So all in the
Interesting.
rubbish.
That's
Yeah, but
interesting.
in the
Yeah.
US, that's great. You have
Mm-hmm.
a good patrimony. Huh? I wanted
Yes.
to buy some comics heroes because they make fake comics for the show, and
Oh,
I wanted
yeah.
to buy it. And I asked to the property master of the show. He said, too bad it's the property of NBC Studios,
Yeah,
and
I think I have one of those. It's a book. I have a book, a hero's
yeah,
book. Yeah, I
I
have to
am
find
looking to
it.
buy this book, but it's a fake book anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Normally,
yeah.
I don't know.
I
Maybe there
have
is some
it.
printed page. Yeah, you
I
have it.
have something. Yeah, I have to. It must be somewhere downstairs. I have to look. But I know that I have something, and I remember my brother-in-law was a big Heroes fan, and I gave him one. But I can see it in my head, but I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I'll see if
that's
I can find it. Yeah.
okay. And if I ask you a little drawing for a Belgian guy, because I collect drawings of artists,
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
send my address by email, and
Okay.
some comics guy send me a little drawing, with pour Romain bien amicalement, and they sign it. And as you are a really great, not comic designer, but a really great illustrator, yeah, I
Merci.
would ask you a little drawing.
You got it. My
Okay.
pleasure. Yes,
But you have time, huh?
absolutely.
It's not a really emergency, huh? Sometimes
Okay.
I ask to a Japanese artist a drawing, and 2 years after my
Uh,
request, he send me a thing. So I'm not pressed.
all right. Well,
Just
I'll try to do it in less than 2 years.
okay,
Yeah.
but there is no problem. So
Merci.
I has called my question. If you got question for me, so it's a conversation. And do you want to ask me question about
Well,
something?
what's your like what's your ambition? Is it to be a journalist who interviews, people in creative roles, or are you looking to create something yourself?
I wanted to work in a professional radio, but in Belgium it's very complicated because you need to be a friend or the family.
Yeah.
And my mother is an accountant. My dad is an employee for police.
Hmm.
So it's not really like that, and it was very hard to find a job in this. And I was in the university in Liège, and there was une annonce, a text where
Hmm.
they were looking some radio host for the university radio. So I
Hmm.
decided to make my show. I am a big fan of comics, so I decided to invite many comics artists, because that's the problem when you invite actors or musicians, they can cancel because we have a concert, I have a filming. So with the
Hmm.
comics artist, I can make a good agenda. So I did it
Hmm.
for 3 years. It was not paid. It was just for the fun. I was a student. And
Hmm.
then I was looking for another radio, but I did some studies. I did some librarian studies. And when I am fired, because I was not anymore a student and they didn't like my show and everything, because
Hmm.
3 years, I receive a call and say, you have a job. You need to work for the Belgian states and to be a librarian. And I say, oh yeah, it's okay. And so I begin to work, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't get the time to search another radio. And I say, yeah, but if I begin to work for a radio, I will write some little articles, I will be an assistant, and I want to do what I would like to do. So I
Hmm.
decided to create my radio online and to interview people. But I don't like the promotion way, because when you are working in media, it's all the time, well, you need to promote the last movie, and there is a press trip, and I don't like that, because I love the actors, I love the humans, and for me, it's important to speak about their background, because it's a kind of history. And
Hmm.
when you listen this podcast, or in the future, in 20 years, you can listen it with
Hmm.
enthusiastic, I think, because we don't speak about the last movie we was released at the time. No, we
Right.
speak about the life of the
Hmm.
person, and I think it's
Hmm.
very interesting. It's kind of documentaries, but with funny things, and that's right. So I am working as a librarian for the Justice State. That's actually
Uh-huh.
my job. And hopefully, because with the COVID, it's very complicated, in the media, in the filming way. And so I cannot meet the people in real right now. So I decided to do it in Instagram. So I did it with you, and yeah, that's great.
I love it. I think that's great. I mean, like you said, you knew what you wanted to do, so you found a way to do it. Do you know, we have a woman here on NPR. Her name is Terry Gross, and she does a show called Fresh Air. And she
Fresh
kind
air.
of, yes, it's wonderful. You should look it up. And she does that. She interviews people, but it's really their life scope, you know. So it will be a great songwriter or a great artist or even a great scientist, but she puts it all in context, like where are you from and how did you get here, and very similar to what you're doing. So I think that's great. Keep going, don't stop. And if you ever need anything, you know where I am.
Yeah. And I really love music. I am a big fan of music, cinema, theater,
Mm-hmm.
of course, and comics. This
That's
is the
great.
three things I really love the most in my life. And
Mm.
I am a really big fan of comics since at the age of 5 years old.
Yeah,
I know everybody in Belgium knows me in the comics field, but in the Belgian comics, not in the American comics. I
sure,
don't know.
sure.
And I really love this. And this is one of my dreams. It's to build a museum about the lost adaptation of comics, you know, like puppet things.
Uh-huh.
And I try to get the puppets, the objects, the movie who were adapted from comics, and
Yeah,
the object from the movie, because everything goes to the bin. And I
yeah,
try to avoid this because in Belgium and France we don't have the NBC studios,
yeah.
so I need
So you want to
to.
create an archive. They call that an
Yeah,
archive.
that's
Yeah,
that's one of my objectives, and I really enjoy to find people, to interact with people. It's all the time
yeah.
amazing, you know, like Tintin and le Capitaine Haddock, you know, there is all the time interaction, and I love to interact with people. Yeah,
That's
sometimes
great.
it can disturb, because it's not all the time a positive interaction, um,
Uh-huh.
but it's interesting to connect and to try to know the person
Mm-hmm.
artistically, to know her cultural taste, and yeah, I really love this.
That's wonderful. I'm excited for you and see where you take it. That's really cool.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think you will go to Belgium one day.
Yeah, I'll let you know for sure. I will definitely let you know.
That's right.
Yes. And you let me know if you come this way.
Of course, I've never been in California. I hope to work with team of
Uh-huh.
of Spirou, because this is one of my dream too. It's to make a beautiful thing about Spirou, because Spirou is my favorite
Yeah.
character in Belgium. They made a movie in 2018 in France, but they destroy it a bit.
Okay.
But Spirou is the opposite of Tintin. It's too adventurous, you know, like
Uh-huh.
Indiana Jones. Spielberg said Tintin is Indiana Jones for kids. Yeah, that is right also for Spirou. But Tintin, he is dead, you know. When you want to make a movie about Tintin, you need to take a book and to adapt the book into a movie. You cannot create
Right.
a new story. But for Spirou, you can create
Oh.
new stories. You can be original. You know, there is
Oh. So just
something.
the character is the
Yeah,
starting point.
yeah. You can take the characters and you create a new stories. You can make an American Spirou. You know, you can
Yeah.
take the character, the Belgian character, but you can move into your universe. And Tim Kring is very great. He made a
Yeah, it's
very
perfect for
beautiful.
that.
Yeah, yeah, and he was very open-minded when I interviewed him yesterday, and I
That's
really,
great.
I really love the point of view of Tim, because he's all the time creating universe. You know, he's thinking about transmedia. You know, there is a there is web series connects, there is
Uh-huh.
comics, and
Mm-hmm.
he create the universe and say,
Yeah.
you will write the stories in comics. We will create a video game, so there is a video game. And
That's so
yeah,
smart.
he is very open-minded, and I was very surprised he knows Spirou, because nobody knows Spirou.
Right.
So he said me he could buy the rights, the Spirou rights, to the French company, because the French company, there was money, they made a very shitty work. They didn't read the album, and they make
Mm-hmm.
something very stupid a bit, so it was a bit frustrating for the fans. So they won't do it anymore in Europe, Spirou. But the
Yeah.
American people, if they do it, they can discover the characters
Yeah.
Spirou and Fantasio with the squirrel. There is a little squirrel named Spip. There is
Uh-huh.
the Comte de Champignac. It's a scientist who
How do you
creates
spell Spiro?
Spirou. S-P-I-R-O-U.
Spirou. Spirou. Oh, I think I've seen it before. Oh, yeah. I've seen Spirou before. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
how did you see him? He's
And the
infamous.
little squirrel. Yeah, I see. Yeah. I mean, I've just seen it as a child, I guess.
But in Quebec, there was a Spirou magazine.
Okay.
In the beginning, uh, Belgium sent to Quebec the Spirou magazine by boat, so the
Okay.
Québécois receive it. But there was in the past a Spirou magazine from Quebec, and I know a Spirou fan from Quebec and said me that there was a radio in Canada who adapts the adventure of Spirou in a radio show, but with the
Oh.
accent, because we have CDs in Belgium with the storytelling, with actors acting
Uh-huh.
with the voice, and they did it in Canada. So we try to find the work. But yeah, there was a Québécois
Maybe
adaptation
that's
of
why I knew. Yeah.
Radio Spirou.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, good luck with that. I'll send you my headshot and my resume, and I can audition for Spirou for you.
Of course, there is Secotine, but Secotine is younger.
All
She's in
right.
the
I'll play
20s.
her mother.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. I will ask to Tim because it's Tim the
Yeah,
boss,
yeah,
and the publisher Dupuis has the rights also because Dupuis is the owner of the character. The production company has the rights, and Dupuis is the owner, the
that's
papa
great.
of the character. So that's
That's
right.
great. Very
Okay.
cool. Well, good
Yeah.
luck with that. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, no problem. I
Yeah.
just need to take time because I have an interview all the day at 8 o'clock. I do a live with an actor until
Uh-huh.
Sunday. And I am working all the day. Each day I wake
Yeah.
up at 5:30. And I need to take a bus, a train, because I am working in 20 kilometers of my home.
Wow.
And I don't have a drive license because I don't like to drive.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, I lost 3 hours by day in the day waiting the bus, waiting the train. Oh,
Right.
it's late. So yeah, but yeah, it's okay. But I will make a beautiful file to Tim, and I hope
Good.
that a production company or something does a beautiful thing about Spirou. Yes, I think
Yeah.
that's great.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful. Good. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's so lovely to
yeah.
meet you.
Me too. Me too. I was hoping to interview you. When I send you the second email, I say, please. I hope she will accept, and you accept. So that's
Of
great.
course. Yes. Wonderful. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day
Thank you so
or
much. And yeah,
night. Have a good night.
last question. Have you got
Wait.
some Facebook, Twitter, or a website where people can check your work?
I mean, I have my Instagram and I have Twitter. I'm not good at Facebook at all. I think I missed it. And then I do have a website with some of my artwork. So maybe
Okay.
I'll put that up again. But yeah, mostly Instagram, I guess, is where I am. Yeah.
Okay. Because there was some fake profiles on Facebook of you, and
Oh,
people
yes, I
were.
think there are. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so
there
people
are.
were asking, so I was just asking, and your website, okay. When this podcast is finished, I will put it into YouTube and I will post it on Facebook,
Okay.
and we post it also on Twitter. But with Twitter, you have a verified badge, so there is no
Yeah,
mistake.
then you know. Yeah, you're right. I think Facebook does. There are some people pretending to be me, and I never quite figured it out, so I don't use it that much. But mostly Instagram and Twitter is where I
Okay,
am. Yeah.
so thank you so much. It was my last
Okay.
question. Thank you so much, and have a good day in the
Carrément.
USA.
Merci. Bonne nuit.
Merci beaucoup, c'est gentil, on se tient
Ok.
au courant. Merci.
À
Ciao.
la prochaine. Ciao.
Merci. Bye.